As residents nationwide dig out from the latest blast of winter, this morning, millions are bracing for even more dangerous weather. Roadways from coast to coast treacherous. This car in New York slamming into a snowplow while trying to pass a truck. And frightening moments in Rochester when an American Airlines plane skidded off a taxiway because of snowy conditions.
Aircraft is off the stage 2 and he is over the whole shore.
Emergency crews rushing to get 53 people safely off the aircraft. Parts of western New York blanketed by more than 5 feet of lake-effect snow, burying local businesses and shuttering schools all week in Buffalo. There's so much snow here, you can't even tell that's a car behind you.
No, you can't really tell that's a car.
Nearly 50 people have died over the last week as a result of the perilous weather, including 3 family members after a power line fell onto their car in icy Portland, Oregon. The only survivor, a 9-month-old baby. A witness rescuing the child.
I just grabbed the baby, I pulled him up, and I walked him up the hill.
16 people have died in Tennessee alone, which is now under a state of emergency, as sub-zero wind chills and more snow sets in across the country. But some moments of hope and daring rescues, including one by a 4-legged friend.
Call her!
In Michigan, after first responders were unable to reach a man who fell through the ice on a lake, his dog Ruby bringing over a rescue disc. The man eventually pulled to safety. And looking at flight disruptions across the country, already this morning there are more than 600 flights canceled. That's almost as many as we saw in all of yesterday. And you may remember the Bills game was postponed last weekend. Officials are hoping this Sunday's playoff game will have a different fate. They're calling on locals to come help shovel the snow. Savannah, maybe that's my next stop.
Exactly. The Bills, what do they call it? The Bills Mafia.
Yeah,
Get those
exactly.
shovels out. That'll be fun. Team building exercise. Al's got his eye on this storm. What do you see?
That's right. And building on what Emily just said, there is a ground stop right now at Washington Reagan Airport, and they're expecting a ground stop or at least delays at LaGuardia in the next hour or so. 77 million people here in the Northeast, the Midwest, under winter weather advisory, storm watches, storm warnings. You can see now that snow is starting to fill in on the radar from Washington, Atlantic City, starting to get into New York City, also back through the Mississippi River Valley. So this storm quickly accelerates off the East Coast. It's going to be a disruptive snow, mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, but the good news is it's a quick mover, so that'll get out of here. Our friends, though, along the eastern side of the Great Lakes, they're going to be suffering with strong winds, drifting snow, slippery travel. Snowfall amounts from South Bend, will see about 6 to 8 inches. Cleveland to Erie, also, as you get just to the north of Ithaca, New York, Appalachians, 6 to 8 inches of snow, 2 to 3 inches generally everywhere else. 59 million people under wind chill warnings, advisories, or watches all the way from the Gulf to the plains. Right now, it feels like -5 in Chicago, 5 in Denver, -10 in Minneapolis. Nashville, you feel like 22 degrees. And look at these wind chills going into the weekend. On Saturday, it feels like -14 in Chicago, -2 in Denver, -15 in Minneapolis, 4 degrees in Washington, D.C. But the good news is we are going to get a little bit of a break. But for today, -11 in Omaha, 15 in Lexington, feels like 13. And tomorrow, that bitter cold continues. But again, what we are going to be seeing is a warm-up. We'll look at that coming up next week, but we got to get there first, guys.
All right. 30 degrees will feel warmer, Brad.
I know.
Compared to what we've seen. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.